what's up? This is Dan, and I run right now and manage a multi-million dollar business. And we've been in business for less than 2 years. We have about 6 employees. We'll do $2.5 million a year in business. And I want to share with you what it was like to go to Hormozi's event. Kind of a little backstory on that was I met Hormozi, Alex and Layla Hormozi, back in 2017 at a ClickFunnels event. And I remember they were doing this little side table where I think it was like where during lunch where we could go meet with some of the speakers. And so we sat down. I sat down with Alex and Layla, and we sat at this round table, and we were just asking them like, how did you guys build Gym Launch to do what they did? And it was kind of do what they did. And over the next, I guess, 7 years now, it's 2024. I've seen their explosive growth, and I was like, man, what's going on? What are they doing differently than everybody else? And so recently in our business, one of the sticking points that we were facing was we were averaging about $170,000 a month on average in the business. And so um, I knew we figured out how to get customers. We knew how to make money, but I was like, there's something missing here. Like, what am I doing? Because I'm not getting to the scale that I want to, and I feel like we're capped. And so what I did was, me and my mentor and a colleague of ours actually went to the Hermosi event. So we went over there to try to figure out what are we going to do, kind of with the business. What are we going to do? How are we going to change it? How are we going to shift it? What should we work on? And I remember going for one intention. And I'm not someone who is, for context, I've been through a lot of masterminds. I've been through a lot of different programs. And I was like, I don't want to go here and like just learn something random. I want to go here for a purpose. And I've usually gone to events with an open mind. But in this case, I had one intention, and I wanted to figure out what was this missing link? What was this one thing that I needed to, just the one thing that's in front of us, not the 10,000 things that we need to do to accomplish the goals of our vision of doing a multi-million, $100 million a year company. But it was just like, what's the next one thing in front of me, right? And so I remember going with intention. I was like, okay, after this is what I want to get out of the event. And so I went over there, and I remember we were sitting with a lot of their team members, because it's not Alex and Layla that does the event, it's their team that does it, for one. And so I was like, that's interesting. I didn't know it wasn't Alex and Layla. They came in maybe like an hour out of the 2 days that we were there. But I was still okay. I was still happy. I wasn't like, there was nothing wrong with it because they were good, qualified people. And I remember talking with, I remember hearing their team talk. And I remember at the time, this is 5, 6 months ago, and I was like, the one person that I need, like, and for whatever reason, I knew that this was the next hire that we had to have, because we had a salesperson, we had marketing, we had things going on, but it was just like fulfillment was becoming a challenge, meaning churn. Like, we started losing customers more than we were keeping them. And so I started thinking to myself, I'm like, man, how can we do this? And so I remember going to this event saying, I need to talk to their customer success director or manager. And at that event, some people are scared to ask questions, but like when I want to learn something, I'm not afraid to ask stupid questions. So I would like literally everything that they would ask, I'm like, tell me, let me answer, let me answer. I need to know. I need to know. Right. Because, we paid to go there. We paid like 5 grand to go and each. And so when we went, I was like, man, that's, it's a good opportunity. I need to make sure I get this. And so I remember asking questions to their customer success director, and I was writing down notes vigorously. I mean, I took tons of notes from what they were telling me, and also I was just like, everything I asked, I had an intention behind it. How can I leverage it to our business? I'm not here just to learn or listen to how they're presenting, which I did learn, and I did understand how they were doing their workshops, but it was more for intention of who's my next hire. And I think that was really the key, I guess, linchpin that helped us tremendously add an additional $856,000 a year to our business. And here's why. Because literally, as soon as we got back from Vegas, I said, we need to hire this CSM. We need to hire a success manager, okay, a customer success manager. And the difference between, and what I realized during this process of learning this right, is there's two types of customer success managers. There's what most people think are customer success managers are actually customer support, right? They're like people that take orders and then go find the answer for them and give it back to them. Then there's customer success managers who lead people, who lead their clients. And I started to realize this is like Salesforce, who's a big CRM thing. They have customer success managers that work on their enterprise level clients because they need a leader, right? They need someone to tell them what to do, not to ask, what do you need help with, and then give it to them, right? So there's a different perspective. And I think there's two types of customer success managers. There's the customer support people, which they're good and they're needed, and they're like the mediator, they're the middleman. And then there's the customer success manager, who's who will lead the client, right? And that was so important. I said, that's who we need to hire. That's our next hire. Now, we had a customer success manager prior, but I didn't know anything about customer success. And so when I went to this event with Hormozi, my one intention was like, how do I train my customer success manager to be a customer success manager that can lead our clients? And so what was great was I hired someone that had tons of experience in customer success, as a CSM, as a leader CSM, and I hired them on, and within 3 to 5 months, like our average monthly revenue went from 175,000 or 180,000, somewhere on there, to $251,000 a month on average within like 2 or 3 months. Okay. And now we've sustained it for more than more than 5 months, right? So that average has been over a 5 month period, and we're only going up from here, which is great to hear because which should probably be great to hear because when I remember going over there and I said, I just need to know one thing. If I get one thing, this was all worth it. So we spent $5,000, 15 grand, but we came back and we bolted on an ability to be able to make an extra $1 million a year from two CSM or two client success managers. And also it gave me a better understanding of how fulfillment worked, what churn actually was, and what retention and attrition. I had never known what those things were. All I knew was more marketing, more sales, right? That was my core competency, like, because I came out of the digital marketing world. And so therefore I was like, I just want to get more clients. More clients solves all. But the truth is that at some point we were facing this, and we just started this business in 2023 or thereabouts, this new business. We've done like little variations of it in the past and done, 100,000, 200,000, $500,000 a year. But this one went from zero to 900,000 in year one. And right now we're going to do about 2.5 million in cash collected in year two. And that's because, most businesses don't get past $1 million ever, let alone in the first 2 years, right? And so we're not moving like in rapid speed, kind of like gym launch, but we are moving pretty decently fast. And I'm very happy with the success and the growth that we've had from the businesses. But I knew that I was capped, and I knew that I didn't know what I didn't know. And so going to this event was so important because I just needed one person to talk to. And it wasn't even Alex and Layla, which is the craziest thing. I mean, I asked them questions. I was like, hey, what should we do? This is our numbers. This is where we're at. And, I show up and they just like, do more. Just keep spending more money. Just keep getting more customers. And I'm like, perfect. I just needed a little bit of that validation. But also, when I talk to their client success manager, and I think I go to these events really for affirmations that what I'm doing is correct. And I think all of us kind of do. We show up and we're like, is the things we're thinking true or not true? I don't know what's wrong with my voice. But I started thinking like, is this true or not true? And so when I heard them talk about the marketing, I was like, I understand the marketing. We got that. Like, that was literally the part where when they were talking, I was like, we're doing all that. That's great. We're on the right path. And then when they started talking about the client success manager and the hiring principles, I'm like, we're not doing that. That's why we're not growing. And so I started implementing a lot of these key pillars of like their leadership and a lot of the like who to hire in what order kind of process. And I was like, man, this is great stuff. And to date, I mean, our clients are winning bigger. We're making more profit. pretty sure we're making more profit because we're not bringing on more customers, and we're getting more retention, more upsells. So, I mean, it just drops to the bottom line, truthfully, because we don't have to acquire that customer again. And so it's becoming more and more streamlined because of that process. So, in a nutshell, what I learned from Alex and Layla was not even from Alex and Layla, it was from their team. It was learning from their team what they were doing and what they were thinking, and almost like the trickle down effect of what Layla and Alex think about pushed into them so they can be distributed in a different way. So I needed kind of a different approach from they have a, it's kind of like if I talk to Elon Musk, I won't understand him. But if I talk to who works under Elon Musk, I would understand them because they have a different perspective than he does, right? They're not at his level, but they understand a baseline level below him. And some people want to go straight to the top and just talk to the top guy and talk to the visionary. But the truth is that oftentimes visionaries are very difficult to understand. And what I've seen is some visionaries, which is kind of interesting. Alex and Layla, you would consider them visionaries, but they're very, very technically sound. They're very, very technical, which is crazy because most people think, well, I'm just going to be a visionary. Don't tell me the details. They're scaling exponentially because they are technical. They understand these things. And it's an understanding that allows them to be powerful in more ways than one. And so those are things that I see and I'm like, cool. I'm not the type of visionary that can go talk on stages and just influence a whole entire crowd. But when I talk, I have precision, right? I have conceptualized thoughts behind it. And I said, interesting. So yeah, smart people can win in business too. And so that was actually probably another cool thing that when I learned that, because we've been told like in this entrepreneur thing that you don't have to be smart, you don't have to be this. And so like it almost like feels like dumb people should win, which is odd. And I was like, so then smart people like me can't win? And I'm not that smart, but I do think things through. And so I think that that's underrated, is actually thinking a thought process through till the end or to its extreme to be able to make better decisions. And therefore, from one thing I guess I did learn from Alex is he makes more powerful decisions because he makes less decisions. And so therefore he's not decision fatigued, which a lot of people that are running in circles trying to figure out what they should be doing, they're always doing, never paying attention to what they're doing. They always get stuck in this cycle of like, I'm lost. It's because you never stop to actually look for the directions, right? And so one thing I think I'm doing pretty well at is being able to look at a concept and look at the second, third order consequences and still being able to move fast on the decisions. So you can only move as fast as the decisions you get, the information you get. So the decision making process you get comes from the information you get. So if you get more information quicker, then you can make decisions faster, right? Because the visionary people that make decisions quickly, it's because they have a lot of information. And so therefore they can make decisions quicker, right? And so those are kind of the thoughts that I've learned, or the lessons I learned from going to Alex and Layla's workshop and what I learned from them. And I mean, so far it's made us an additional $71,000 a month. So it's a pretty good takeaway. I think it was a pretty valuable event. So yeah, if you thought this was cool, click the link, like this video or share this video with someone you think would benefit from this. I shoot these videos so I can just look back at it later to understand, hey, what was I thinking at this time while we were growing this thing, and where do we go from there? So I did this almost as a documentation for myself and then also for my team, like for our team to like look back and say, okay, cool, this is what he got out of it. Did you get the same thing, right? So anyways, see you next time.